So there's been a series of victories of Trump starting to clean up the executive branch with the garbage that Biden had put in. He got his Laken Riley Act passed. That was one of his legislative goals, that things that he wanted to do in his first 100 days, that got passed. And so, yes, there are reasons to celebrate politically for some of these victories. However, I strongly urge people not to get complacent. With Trump being in office, this is a window of opportunity to take back the states. See, Trump is the commander-in-chief, okay? He is the head of the executive branch of the government. Yes, that's important, but that's not the only institution that's in trouble in this country. It's not just the presidency. There's obviously the judicial branch, which it is what it is, and nothing's going to change until somebody wants to retire or somebody passes away. Then Trump can nominate somebody else that would have to be confirmed by the Senate. We have Congress on the federal level, which, you know, there's a lot of rhinos and neocons on the Republican side, and there's a lot of Democrats that sort of flirt with socialism and egalitarianism on the left as well. Now, on the state and your cities and your counties, that needs to be taken back. See, the last time when Trump was in office, people just took it for granted. They say, well, Trump's the president. People didn't pay attention to what was going on the state or local levels, and they just let that go astray for the most part. And I very strongly urge people not to do that this time. You saw what happened with the election in 2020. Well, that was because of the corruption in some of these states that allowed for those kind of shenanigans to happen. You also had issues with lockdownerism. Remember, the lockdowns were worse in some states than others. You see, your local governments matter. There's no guarantee that J.D. Vance gets elected in 2028, okay? So don't assume that there's one person that's going to save you from all the tyranny that exists in a lot of these institutions. Now, granted, the local institutions are generally a lot better than the federal government. The federal government is seriously messed up. However, this is a window of opportunity, okay? And don't let another QAnon fool you into believing, to believe a false sense of security, okay? You need to take back your state governments. Pay attention to what's going on in your local government, all right? Pay attention to who is good and who is not on the local level, and only promote those that have a clean record on the local level. Because, see, on the local level, generally speaking, on the local level, that's how people in politics get started, and they start to filter up as they then later on run for state houses, and then possibly they go on to run in a federal election. So if you clean up things on the local level, things trickle upward and start getting cleaned up on the federal level as well. It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, and it's not perfect, but it's very important to do. So pay attention to what's happening in your school board. Embrace reason and discard the nihilistic modernity. Pay attention to the budgets that are going on your county commission meetings or your city council meetings. Pay attention to what's going on with your budgets. Pay attention to the kind of decisions that they're attempting to make. If you happen to know something, that a lot of times these people make decisions on things that they really don't know what they're talking about. So if you happen to have some area of expertise, chime in. You have the right to do so. Go up there and say, hey, look, you know, such and such, there's a better way of doing it that's a lot more cost effective, for example. So anyway, do not get sucked into a false sense of security just because Trump is president.